Second episode of Psych Chats. We have Deepthi today. These are my colleagues, Dr. Chippy and Dr. Sruthi. Dr. Deepthi is going to tell us about a small glimpse of parenting. The topic that we are going to discuss today is on disobedience in children and how to tackle that. Yeah, Deepthi. So what is, in your experience, what do you think is the primary reason why children are disobedient, if you can find out some such, or at least a few reasons why children tend to be disobedient?
Okay. So I think we need to look at multiple things, such as whether the child has other problems which is leading to the child becoming disobedient. That is one very important thing that we need to look at, because we'll find that sometimes when children are worried or distressed about something that has happened in their life, and they do not know how to express it, or they feel that when they express it, it will not be appropriately received by the people that they are talking to, they might try and suppress it, but at the same time they're not feeling good about it, so they'll be sad and angry, which can come out as disobedience when the authoritative people ask them to do something because they're simply not happy. So that is one very major reason why children display disobedience. The second thing is, what we perceive as disobedience might be just what the child has learned as behavior that is okay. So suppose at home the child has done something and you have not really responded to it because at home you were tired and you just thought, okay, let's just leave it. This one time, let me leave it. And so the next time, if the child is doing this same behavior in front of people, we will get very embarrassed and we will try to correct the child. And that time the child is very upset because I had done this a few days back. You did not tell me anything that day. Now why are you telling me? And that too in front of people. So then that will aggravate the child's behavior even more instead of actually bringing it down. So that might be just what we are seeing as disobedience, but this is behavior that the child has thought is okay, right? So that is another reason why. So there are, of course, like I said, multiple reasons, but another important reason is sometimes the child might have learned to increase this disobedient behavior because he has been taught that he will get a reward when he does this behavior.
ഈ അറബിന്റെ ക്യാമലിനെ വരികയാണല്ലേ, ഈ അറബിയുടെ ഇതില് ആദ്യം തലയിട്ട് നോക്കി ഒട്ടകം, പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഉടലും കൂടെ ഒന്നിട്ട് നോക്കാം, പിന്നെ കാലിട്ടു, പിന്നെ കൈ ഇട്ടു, ഫുള്ള് ഒട്ടകം ഉള്ളില് മറവി പുറത്തുപോയി. സോ അങ്ങനെ ഉള്ള ഒരു ടെസ്റ്റ് our limits. Children test limits. Then they start doing little things, and then you are ignoring it. Fine, I'll do something more. Then you are ignoring it. Then you do something more.
So ഇവിടെ ഈ സ്റ്റോറിയിൽ I think ഒട്ടകം is a phone in most people's lives. Children and their phone is the ഒട്ടകം and the Arabi, and the Arabi is the parent who is being pushed out, and the phone is the one that is wanted now. So you find that initially when the child was using the phone, you thought, okay, child is sitting quietly, let the child play, we can do our things and we can just finish our work in between, and that is just easier for us. I will never blame a parent for wanting to take a break, but the activity that you're giving to the child when you want to take a break is very important, because the phone gives the child an environment that is very, very fast, stimulating, and so when the child has used the phone for a very long time and now the child has put it aside, he feels the outside world to be under-stimulating, right? So then he wants the phone again, and when he wants the phone again, now you say no, and but the child thought this behavior is okay, just like I said. So he wants it and he starts, because he thinks it's unfair. In his mind, this is unfair, so he will throw a tantrum. Now, because you want the tantrum to stop, the first time he throws a tantrum, you will give him the phone. He has learned that, okay, if I want something, I need to throw a tantrum. If I throw a tantrum, I will get what I want. So, and then you start calling the child disobedient and angry and destructive.
So you have created that monster.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes I'm also confused as a mother. How can I deal with the disobedience?
Okay, so how do you deal with disobedience, and we'll talk about how that can be modified.
Sometimes, mom, I would be angry after my in the work, and they are doing something like that. Most of the time, when I enter to the home, they would be playing in mobile games, and sometimes I would be angry.
Yes.
So sometimes they would tell their father or that mama is got angry with them, or it's so I am unsure that how I can deal with that.
Yes. So what do you think your child is trying to do when he's using the phone?
They were really enjoying.
Yes, so they are enjoying, they are having fun, and they are trying to, they have something in their environment that gives them all these things, and they're trying to use it. So just like I mean, I understand that you're tired and all that, but this is what your child needs at that moment. He needs engagement, he needs entertainment. So instead of the phone, you could, if you want him to keep the phone aside, you can give him ideas that will be entertaining enough for him to want to put the phone down. So you can say that let's go to a park, right? That can be relaxing for you as well.
Yes.
He can play around in the children's park while you sit aside and you take a few minutes of your time, you sit, you relax. And this is a much healthier way, because child will learn to interact with others also, right? And when we get angry at the child, many times it's because we expect the child to be at our level of understanding. Allengile, we are expecting the child to just simply obey. So neither of this will work, because we need to understand that the child is a being with its own brain, with its own emotions, with its own level of intelligence. So what he or she perceives as unfair is not something that they will want to change. They will say, no, this is unfair, I will not change it. Why should I put the phone down? I am bored. Right. So respect your child's need for things also. So discuss with your child as to what the child wants. Discuss with your child. I found many children who were called disobedient by their parents and were brought to me. And but when I was talking to them and I explained that this phone is ultimately going to spoil the neurons in your brain. That is a very layman way of saying that there will be neuronal problems, right?
Scrambled brain.
Yes. So when I say that, they actually take a minute. They think about it and they are like, okay, and then we come to an understanding. You also, like I said, you cannot be rigid. You have to be flexible. So ideally, I would want the child to stop using the phone altogether.
That's not really possible,
yes.
is it? All certain classes are online, so many things are online.
Yes.
And then we are also using it. So we can't say one thing ourselves and then tell our children not to use it.
It's more increased in this time.
We can't help it. It's part of our life.
Yes, because we also found it
Only part of this. Let us not get... I don't know how many people, like I said in my last time, that this mobile is an addiction.
Yes.
How many of us switch off the mobile when we go to sleep?
Yes.
Or how many of us keep it aside? It is by my bedside, I must confess.
And we also give reasons for that. We say alarm adikkumbo enike off cheyanam. And there's a very simple alternative to that. Buy an alarm clock, put it next to your bed, put your phone aside.
All in one.
Yes, but this is what children are seeing, learning, and they are like, why
so
should
that
I
is
put
about the
phone
mobile phone issue. But very young children, I think they need certain limits to be set.
Yes.
അവിടെ നമുക്ക് റൈറ്റ് ആൻഡ് റോങ് അവർക്ക് അങ്ങനെ ആ ഒരു ലെവലിൽ അവർക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് ടു ആർഗ്യൂ വിത്ത് ദം അബൌട്ട് ഫെയർ ആൻഡ് അൺഫെയർ. ഐ തിങ്ക് ഒരു മിഡിൽ ലെവൽ, ഒരു 10-11 ആ ഒരു ഏജിലായിരിക്കാം കുട്ടികൾക്ക് അത് കൂടുതൽ മനസ്സിലാവുക. കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ചെറിയ കുട്ടികളെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ how do we do that with smaller children?
They should learn to respect the word no, and respect comes with trust. Respect comes with the knowledge that this person who is telling me this will never actually hurt me. So never, please never beat your child, because that is not, എനിക്ക് അറിയാം നമ്മുടെ culture also accepts beating a lot, but you're also
ഒരു saying ഉണ്ട്, just for fun. എൻ്റെ അച്ഛൻ പണ്ട് പറയായിരുന്നു, 5 വയസ്സ് വരെ രാജാവിനെ മാതിരി വളർത്തണം, 5 കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ 5 to 10 നമ്മളെന്താ ഇടിച്ച് വളർത്തണം, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് 10 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് പിന്നെ നമ്മളോളം ആവുമ്പോൾ വി ഷുഡ് ട്രീറ്റ് ദം ലൈക്ക് ഈക്വൽസ്. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു നമ്മുടെ ഒരു പഴഞ്ചൊല്ലാണ്.
അതെ. So I have a response to that. Man's growth curve is actually not
5 years തന്നെ വഷളാക്കി രാജാവിനെ മാതിരിയാക്കി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ മൊത്തം പോയി.
അതെ. So man's growth curve is not linear. We reach a peak at around 30s, 40s, and then we start declining, right? So when when you are declining, your child is reaching his peak. So if you have taught the child aggression as a means of obedience or resolving problems, chances are, if the child's, not all children who have, I have been beaten, But we do also realize that that is not the correct way to react. But some children might not understand that. So when they grow up as adults, they might learn aggression as a way of responding to
whatever comes there.
Yes. So anna namakadiyollu if we are not, and I'm not saying that you should be, I'm saying that this example that you've set was also a very major reason why this is happening now, right? So I'm never blaming parents, please understand that, but at the same time it's important to understand all the factors. ചെറിയ റോൾ ആണെങ്കിൽ പോലും ഇതിനും റോൾ ഉണ്ട്. So try and avoid that behavior. Instead, respect your child when you're talking to them. Tell them what is wrong is wrong. Also look at the example that you're setting for your child. For example, ഇപ്പോൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും അവർ കേൾക്കണമെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളും അത് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല എന്ന് അവർക്ക് തോന്നണം. സോ നമ്മൾ അവരുടെ മുമ്പിൽ ആരോടും നുണ പറഞ്ഞു, പിന്നീട് കുട്ടി നമ്മളോട് നുണ പറയുമ്പോൾ we get very hurt, we get very
that
upset.
often happens.
Yes.
They actually, the children look at what you do, not what you say.
Yes.
It's very important to do the right thing.
Yes.
And then stick to it and enforce that right and wrong.
Yes.
At a certain age, they're required to be told that this is right and this is wrong.
Yes.
They get confused otherwise.
Yes.
Later on, it's okay to explain and maybe tell them why this is right. And as teenagers, you definitely will need a lot of respect for that autonomy and their own
Yes.
decisions.
That individual who is growing up in mind.
Otherwise, if it like ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു അതുകൊണ്ട് അത് ചെയ്യണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു
അതെ.
15 വയസ്സായ കുട്ടിയോട് അത് പറ്റില്ല.
അതെ.
പക്ഷേ ഒരു 5 less than 5 ഒക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനെ പറയേണ്ടി വരും ചിലപ്പോൾ, ഇല്ലേ?
Yes, less
You'll
than
have to
5
tell them
needs
that
to
you are-
learn to respect the word no.
Yeah.
Also needs to respect, understand that okay, അമ്മ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അച്ഛൻ ഇവർ പറഞ്ഞതാണ്. It's not that we have exceptions for what
If
we are
I
saying.
scream and throw a tantrum, അമ്മയ്ക്ക് പിന്നെ മനസ്സലിഞ്ഞ് ഇത് ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ പിന്നെ കഴിഞ്ഞു. And another important thing that I have noticed is the role of consistency, not only between the mother child, father child, the external environment, grandparents, എല്ലാവരും ഒരേ സ്വരത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. അവിടെയാണ് പ്രശ്നം വരാറ് പലപ്പോഴും. ബിക്കോസ് അപ്പം ആ ചെറിയ കുട്ടിയല്ലേ എന്ത് ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പറയണോ, ഇത്രയൊക്കെ റൂൾസോ, ഇത്ര ചെറിയ കുട്ടിയാണ്.
അതെ. So
That is another
our
thing that
consistency വേണം. You have to have that talk.
It's very difficult.
That very uncomfortable talk with all members in the family that we all want the same thing. We all want the happiness and health of our child. So sometimes even if you disagree with me, do not say it in front of the child. Maybe have a conversation with me later. That would be healthier. അത് നമുക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടാകുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ പിന്നീട് അത് സംസാരിക്കേണ്ടത്. ബട്ട് നെവർ നെഗ്ലെക്ട് ദാറ്റ്. സോ നെവർ തിങ്ക് അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ്, തിങ്ക് ദാറ്റ് അത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മേ ബി മൈ ഡാഡ് ഓർ മൈ മോം മൈറ്റ് സേ സംതിങ് നെഗറ്റീവ്. ദേ ആർ സേയിങ് ഇറ്റ് ബിക്കോസ് ദേ ആർ വെരി അപ്സെറ്റ് അബൌട്ട് വാട്ട് ദ ചൈൽഡ് ഇസ് ഗോയിങ് ത്രൂ, റൈറ്റ്? സോ ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ദെയർ റീസൺ. So we have to understand that they are not saying it to say something negative towards the parent. And അത് നമ്മൾ അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ, അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യാണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഉള്ളിൽ വി ആർ ഓൾസോ ഇൻക്രീസിങ് ദിസ് aversion that we are feeling, and ഒരു ദേഷ്യം വരികയാണ് നമുക്ക്, and we are not addressing it, we are not talking about it. Put it very gently, because we know, like I said, we want the health of the child, so we can always address that problem instead of putting it to the side and allowing that demon to grow.